Yo, what is good, y'all? It's been a long minute. I hope y'all are doing well. When was the last time I made a video? Oopsies. My YouTube channel is not doing that well. I kind of abandoned it, so I'm sorry. I've been streaming a lot more on Twitch, so if you want to see my content, you can head on over there. But I saw the new update for New Era, and I figured it's time to make a video about it and try to help out new players because the game is starting to make a comeback. I think the update is really well done. Don't know what it is. They're essentially giving a lot of rewards for returning and new players, and they kind of change a lot of the mechanics and shit. So I don't really know everything about it, but on paper it looked pretty good. So here we are with a new Cleave tier list video for the, what would this be? The summer season for RTA. If you haven't seen the frame, by the way, it's really popular for most people that are going to be playing. Like for me, it's like whatever. I'm not really a fan of the frame, but I know for a lot of other people they really like it. So I think next season will be a pretty crazy season. And so I figured, hey, let's just try to help out some of the people that are trying to end Legend or M. This is like going to be mainly for people that try to end in the high ranks. So without further ado, let's start. I already made the entire thing, so we don't have to like yap too much. Actually, I'm gonna be yapping a lot, but I don't have to like drag units and like change spots here and there. I think I'm pretty happy with this order. Again, this is just my opinion, so I've been cleaving for like, I don't know, 4 years now. I think I've been playing this game literally every time. So, and as for my account, yeah, one more thing. I started to do my account review video. That's coming in soon. I just gotta wait for the artist to do a thumbnail, so that'll be up soon, hopefully. But I feel like this is pretty important to release. So, all right, let's get started. No more yapping about other bullshit. So, Lady of the Scales. Obviously, this is still probably the best cleave anchor in the game, right? Just because she provides so much value from her passive alone, right? With the damage mitigation, like this makes it so your team never dies. And this CR push is really, really nice too. So she ends up being a bridge for your team and for your DPS as well, right? She can bridge off your opener if they have like a Veronica, right? Because she gets the CR from the Veronica. Or if they have like any other anti-cleave, right? Like she gets CR from Elena if you have an AoE, right? This S3 is really strong too because it gives abundance to your DPS. So you can one-shot stuff that normally you shouldn't be able to one-shot. So giving this to like a Frieren will be super strong, right? And she's a soul weaver too, so she can give your team more souls. And her S1 is so strong too, right? This AoE fear is so good against units that counterattack, right? So like Ice Area, for example, if you manage to land a fear on them, they just can't counterattack until they take their turn, right? So all in all, this unit is super broken still. And the nice part is against Notos, she still keeps her buffs because well, she doesn't get the immortality. Your frontline won't get the immortality, but you'll still get the damage share because it's considered a unique effect rather than a buff. So I don't know what the hell how that works, but with unique effects, they don't get stripped by Notos' thing. Only undispelled buffs. Like for example, this gets stripped, but not Scales. I don't know, it's weird. But yeah, that's why she's still an SS tier. She's still a first pick. She still gets pre-banned like 90% of games. Yeah, super strong. Next unit is Shepherd of the Dark Diene. And the reason why obviously Diene is so strong is because first she gets 50 CR off of a soul burn. So like pretty much nothing can cut her except Veronica. She gets ER when she has immortality. She strips 2 buffs too, right? Which is really nice against some units. And then this ignore ER seal, which is so strong. AoE, by the way, and pushes back. So she ends up being a really strong bridge with like Zeo, with Brier, with Rand, pretty much any opener that can soul burn off the rip, right? And she's a mage too, so she can hold book. for your opener to soul burn off of. So that's a very synergistic unit with openers, and her damage is pretty good too, right? Because this will apply rupture and drag duels as well. So Diene is also probably the second most pre-ban unit in the game, I would say. Now maybe it's Notos, but it's like back and forth between them. And obviously with all these units, I'll show my build in case people want to copy or something. You can always join my Discord too if you want to see my builds. I'll have a link in the description. Okay, let's talk about Frieren. Obviously Frieren is still super strong, right? It's probably the most consistent DPS for a long time now, honestly, since she came out. Because no other unit has her survivability and damage output, right? She's one of the few characters, actually maybe the only character, that has insane damage and insane survivability because of her defensive magic, right? And then this AoE, she gives attack buff to herself, right? So with Death Break, this ends up being super strong. You get fucking hella souls with her S1 and then her artifact, and gives immunity, so she can 1v4 some teams just by herself if they don't have fixed damage or a way to strip off the immunity, right? She's super good into like G-Ross, Eula if you have immunity, right? What else? Like, I guess in terms of common picks, those are the two most common answers that people pick first, and then you can just pick Frieren and then play like your Brier angle. Like a super popular draft was like what, Scales, Frieren, Brier, and then go from there. But yeah, you want to be pretty fast because you want her to take the turn. She doesn't have a way to bridge herself, right? So you want to be able to take the turn after you have like a renewed will push or something like that. So Notos, the new anchor in the game. I think he's in contention for the best anchor along with Scales, right? Pretty much if he gets to press S3, you win the game. Obviously you need warfare. You want to be kind of fast, right? Like ideally you want to be like 220. And then this could be like Holy Sack or Proof. Holy Sack's technically better, but because I play Brier a lot, Proof ends up being better for me. And then once he presses S3, you get 3 kills, right? You get to S2, you get to S1, and then S2 again before his buff goes away. So as long as you kill the 3 DPS units that can kill him, then you can just 1v1 the last unit by himself. And then, yeah, you pretty much win. Because he has like, what, 60k HP after S3. He still has 30k. He full heals if he gets to press this. Like, it's freaking crazy. Yeah, fully recovers health is insane. So he's definitely the strongest anchor for sure, right? You can like literally first pick him and then just play your other 4 units could be straight cleave. And then after your cleave rotation is over, whatever's still alive will just die to Notos. Because Notos can literally solo all the anti-cleave units by himself. It's crazy. Okay, now which of the Mirror Tenebria? This is still the premier debuffer for most cleave, right? Just because block is really unique where cleansers can't cleanse this off, while she is also able to apply stun, sleeps, and redirected provokes. So she buys you a turn against the key units, even if their cleansers don't get tagged because they have too much ER, right? Like if they have like a 350 ER fucking Ruel or something, or like a Hkate's, and you don't tag her, but you tag everyone else, it doesn't matter if you don't tag them, right? Because she can't cleanse. And then this is also really nice for damage, right? You can solo teams by just 10A solo DPS if you land ruptures on everything, because the rupture damage with the block and the debuff is just way too many debuffs for them to deal with, which is why a lot of turn 2 players still pre-ban this. And obviously this artifact's really strong with stuff like Ran, stuff like Brier Scales, right? So you can guarantee take the turn. And then this is the build that I went with. Like the bulk doesn't matter, high speed, high effectiveness, and then yeah. Okay, let's talk about Zio. Zio is still the premier opener for if they take like Renac or Ran themselves, right? Like what's it called? If you know you're slow, then you're forced to play Zio on 3, right? Which is what I did for a lot of the season. Like, if people early pick green neck, I'm not going to play Brier on 3 because I know I'm going to get raised and then get outsped. So instead, you play Zio on 3 and then just play the bridges off of that, right? Because Zio is still really, really strong, even into Veronica now, because of the new bridge options he has. So, before in the past, you wouldn't ever pick Zio if they had Veronica, but now you don't really care. And there's a lot of tech that goes around, right? Like, for example, I'm on an attack percent neck because I want to be able to proc Queen's Whistle on some units, which is why he needs to be the highest attack on the team, right? And then still have some F in case I don't need to soul burn and I need to land, right? In case I'm limited on souls. 250 is fast enough for pretty much everything. It'll probably never get outsped. And then the rest is into damage, right? On tag health. So for example, if they pick scales, right? A pretty good answer to scales would be like going Diene Zio or Frieren Zio into that, right? And they could play like Hkate 3, which is we'll get to Hkate later, but Hkate is also a really strong cleave unit. But yeah, Zio is super strong if they contest speed on you, because he has so many bridge options, right? Like he has Teu, Diene, Litica, Sharklot, Flan, Fiend, Ludwig, Rowana, like the list goes on, SBA, the list literally goes on and on. Oh, speaking of another Zio bridge, Cigret. Okay, I actually don't have this unit, but Cigret is super strong with Zio. It's another Zio bridge where you can S1 with Zio and then proc your Glorious Flag, right? And the nice part about Cigret is she applies AoE Fear, just like Soulburn Scales S1, but she does it on a non-tech skill strip. So you don't have to worry about like getting 15 and like triggering a counter on something. Like even if you miss Fear on like, I don't know, Iceria, then at least you won't proc a counter attack. And she also CR pushes back. Her S2 is like it like drags everyone's like S1, which is pretty strong. So you can like kill off her counters, like for example Sharoon, right? If you S2 Sharoon and then drag your whole team and then the Sharoon dies, then like you're chilling. And she rotates, or she cycles so fast because of her speed buff and like her S3 only being on like a 3-turn cooldown or something like that. It's crazy. So Cigret is also the premier debuffer along with 10A for most Cleave. But unfortunately I don't have her, so it is what it is. But it's still possible to Cleave without Cigret. I mean, I was able to do it, so. Archetype Kohi, this is the new unit on the block. Again, a really strong imprint. Actually, probably the strongest imprint, because we finally have a bridge that's also an imprint. If you look at every other imprint in the game, they don't have a way to bridge themselves off unless like you trigger a condition on the enemy team, right? Like for example, Veronica, right? You need to proc Immortality for her to be a bridge. Or like Vildred, you need to proc a unit under half now for him to proc, right? But now with Kohi, she's an imprint that can bridge up off of like your Rand, for example, right? Like one of Rand's biggest weaknesses was because he didn't have a natural bridge that was also an imprint, right? So if you're forced to race as a Rand, you had to go 2 bridge, 2 imprint. You couldn't go like 3 imprint, 1 bridge. Otherwise, they would just ban your bridge, and then you're forced to play Rand with 3 imprints, and then you don't kill anything, and then you just lose the game. But now with this, what the Rand can do now is S1, and then proc this, and then push up your Kohi, and then bridge with that way, while still giving speed to your openers. Which is why Rand is so strong now. Because of the new imprints. And Kohi is just really good because this dispels 2 buffs. We finally have a imprint that also dispels buffs and applies debuffs. Like Dark Shuri can't do that. Applies the bomb and frostbite and then detonates the target. And the frostbite is really nice versus like scales, right? So, and gives swift attack to the allied target, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, like this character has a lot on her kit. This is the build that I went with: 208 effectiveness, 270 speed, and yeah, super good. Okay, Teu. Again, a super unique unit. No one else can do his job. Where he is a DPS that can ignore ER Death Break on his Soulburn strip, right? His damage is really good, and no other unit in the game can push up 100 CR and then apply Death Break to help you kill their team, right? And the nice part is I'm on this really fast build because if you have like Diene Teu, right, people are gonna obviously pick Veronica, but because this Teu is on 250 speed, you will cut every Veronica, and then you can kill off the Veronica, and then Diene can wipe with Death Break, which is pretty cool. Obviously, if you don't know how to draft him, you just pick him with units like a pushback, so like Zio, Diene, ML Poly, you know, stuff like that. Litica. Right. Usually, I'll always pick him if I have Zio on 3, like 99% of the time. Okay, let's talk about Brier Witch. Now, the nice part about this character is she's an opener that has anti-revive passive and can also push up your team, and strips and applies unbuffable and death break on AoE and has splash damage for some reason. So this is obviously the best Cleave opener in the game. If you ask anyone on ladder, they will say Brier Cleave was the strongest, and it's been the strongest for like a while now, probably like 3 or 4 seasons at this point. Just because her kit is so overloaded, right? A lot of standard players, they have trouble with this passive. Oh yeah, she has hit chance too, so you can't even pick revive versus or evasion versus her. She'll just hit. And with the renewed will, pushing up your team, right? You can just one shot everything. Like people were trying to play like fast blue lane now, which is like a decent answer, but there are ways to play around it, right? Just the way Brier played was really problematic for turn 2 players, which is why she was so strong as a Cleave opener, which is why she's on my top speed, obviously. And crit chance is a bonus if you can get her, because if you crit on the S3, then you can proc like your Frieren and your Pavel combo, right? So Pavel can proc after 1 turn. Effectiveness is not really needed because you're soul burning like 99% of the time anyways. But she's a really strong combo with scales as well because of her immortality that she gets. And essentially she ends up being a super strong mitigator for your team if you have Brier scales, which is why that combo was pretty much unlosable if you had it. Okay, let's talk about Veronica. Oops, that's not Veronica. Veronica here. Okay, so this unit was really strong because a lot of people played immortality stuff. Obviously scales is the biggest one, right? Some people still pick Spirit Eye Celine, or Veronica would be super strong. Diene, right? Diene was super common if you didn't take her, so you pretty much always have to take Veronica to deal with Diene, right? I'm on 290 speed on 170 F, so I can land without soul burning. And then guidelines obviously a must because you don't want to get targeted out by like their opener if they play like Zio Diene, right? You want this to cut in between their Zio Diene combo, so that's why she's on Guiding Light. And I'm on this EE still. You can run the 80% one, but I think this one is better for me as a cleaver, just because I want to be able to push stuff back that is guaranteed to go after my Veronica but before my DPS, right? Like for example scales, right? I want to be able to push her back and then stun her as well, so that way I can like have a better turn order, I guess. SBA, again a really good debuffer along with Diene and Cigret and Kohi. Well, the difference is she is a book holder. Well, that's pretty much it. She's a book holder. So what that allows you to do is it lets you soul burn your openers that strip and apply debuffs. For example, Brier and Ran, right? Because what you can do is you can Brier soul burn or Ran soul burn, and then SBA goes, and then she can stun the whole team. because you can strip off their immunities with your open on 3. And she's the only, I think the only bridge that can do that. Yeah, because she is also a self bridge with this CR increase push. And being able to stun the whole team is really, really strong. So she's really strong into stuff like Veronica plus like Yulha, right? She's strong into Nurse Eula because she applies 3 debuffs, and the Eula will get rid of the burn, not the stun, which is really, really, really nice. So, yeah, I'm on like 250 speed, 240 F. Just want to stack as much F as possible, honestly. And then obviously get on bug. And then, yeah, the build is pretty simple, but yeah, really strong debuffer with openers that can dispel buffs. Hkate. Now, this unit is really good because of the meta that it is in the current state of the game, right? We see so much Ross, Ruel, Scales, Diene, where Hkate is just strong into all of them, right? You'll see me a lot if you looked at my drafts for the season. Pretty much, I was playing Hkate 3. They took Scales like every time, right? She was really strong into that Ruel Lady Scales combo that people were playing. Make her pretty tanky too. And then this kills, because this ignores damage share, so it's really strong versus Scales. And you can kill off the front unit eventually, and then you can get stealth if you need to as well. Like Hkate just had a really solid kit. She even has an EE now, which helps, right? So you can like S3 and then go into stealth. So Hkate was really, really good. I guess she would kind of be like a Cleave anchor, but she's more so like a DPS that can deal with the current meta. You can run Proof of Valor on instead of Golden Rose if you want to. But I'm on Golden Rose for now. Obviously, Warfare is a must. Yeah. Okay, Commander Pavel. He's just really strong because of Frieren, right? If Frieren wasn't good, then he wouldn't be good. But the Frieren Caval combo is so strong, even as second pick, right? If you have like Scales, Frieren, Brier, Cav, that is a really, really strong combo because the counters to Caval don't counter Frieren at all. So you're essentially forced to contest the opener, but if the Brier is faster, then like you just lose the game for fun, right? So this unit had like infinite damage where if you get a death break with Brier or Ran, and then he procs his S2, the whole team just dies. He's also really good at killing stuff like Veronica, right? He can kill through Ilinov as well if you soul burn. Like his damage was really, really good. And it's reflected in the win rate too, because his win rate was really, really high last season for a lot of cleavers. And I'm on Dux Noctis, obviously. You don't even need speed on him, but I just didn't want to change the build, and he still worked out for me, so it's like whatever. So, yeah, Commander Pavel's really, really strong. Okay, let's try to pick up the pace a little bit. Fire Flan. Fire Flan was decent. Not as good as she once was. Obviously, like she used to be like the best like bridge in the game, but now she's like a good bridge, right? It's still nice if you need to force single target attacks, right? In case they have like anti-AoE, then she'll be really good. Obviously stuff versus stuff like Elena, right? Versus stuff like Fire Ada, she'll still be really good. I'm on a really fast build still, and I'm on Torrent. Obviously Pen is probably better at this point in the meta, but Torrent gets the job done, so it's like whatever. And obviously I want this Artie. And yeah, she can like pretty much nuke out units one by one, which is her strength, right? So you don't have to ever proc anti-AoE effects, which is nice. Okay, let's talk about Vildred. The new Vildred is really, really strong. Obviously, you want to be 280 crit damage max because of this thing, the Blade Ascent. The new crit damage buff giving 70 instead of 50. So I'm like overcapped by 13, but it's like whatever. And the nice part about this Vildred is just like Kohi, his condition to bridge is pretty easy. You just have to get a unit below half, right? So if you have a DPS Brier or DPS Ran, then it's pretty easy to proc Vildred if you're racing, right? Because you're only gonna pick Vildred if you're racing other people. So then Ran ends up being a pretty good way to proc his S2 and then get a kill and then push up and then yeah, all that stuff, right? So Vildred is really, really strong this season. He's also the best damage dealer as an imprint, right? His raw damage is just insane, especially if you have like death breaks and stuff too. So yeah, Vildred is really, really strong still, and he gives 12 speed as well. Litica, no one else does Litica's job still, even though she came out like I think 3 years ago now. Like she's still the only unit that has a pushback AoE off of a bridge, right? I guess Diene does it too, but it's not really the same. Like blooming Litica's is pretty much guaranteed if you land a debuff, right? While Diene needs to actually take her turn. So it's a little bit different. But yeah, restrict is super strong versus stuff like Veronica, right? If you're playing Blid Diene and then you land your S2 on Veronica with Blid and restrict the Veronica, then she can't push up and then your Diene just takes the turn. It's pretty cheesy, but it works against like players that are better than you, where you have to force a 50 win con. I've definitely done that a couple times. But yeah, at this point in the meta, blooming Litica's value is literally straight in her S2. It's not even her S3. This is where blooming Litica's value comes from. And it's been like that for like 2 seasons. So you want to stack as much F and speed as possible. Right, I'm at like 276. And try to be like 250 speed at least. Right. The HP can be like 17k. It's like fine. It's like whatever. Maybe some HP is okay. But yeah, the most important thing is definitely the F. Okay, Ran. Obviously, this unit was played a lot. Probably the second most common opener with Brier. You'd probably fight like the Diene Ran comp. Whenever you did fight Ran. And his value comes in just shitting on scales, right? Unlike Brier where she dies to scales, Ran shits on scales because of the frostbite debuff, right? And the restrict as well. The restrict is really, really good. So you land the death break and frostbite, and then Diene can go and then wipe through scales as mitigation. You don't really care. And his base speed is really high. And he has a way to race. Finally, he has a way to race with Kohi and Vildred, right? So honestly, Ran could like move up a tier, depending on how the season plays out. But it's technically still preseason and the season hasn't come out yet, so we'll wait on Ran. But yeah, giving immunity is really good too. Like for your Frieren, for example, right? Giving 2-turn immunity to Frieren makes it so she can't get debuffed, so you can S3 right away instead of being forced to S1 versus like a Ross, for example. And then his damage is like decent too. So yeah, you just want 100 crit chance, decent speed, or not decent speed, but like try to get him as fast as you can and then stack as much damage as possible. Okay, next unit is Spirit Eye. This unit kind of fell off like a tiny bit from previous seasons where it's hard to pick single target DPS just because, well, especially Spirit Eye, just because Notos came out too, so she can't get value if Notos takes his turn. And she's pretty weak into stuff like ML Iceria as well, because if she gets counterattacked once, she probably dies because of the splash fixed damage, right? So she's a little bit harder to play. She's still good versus stuff like Young Senya though, so there was that at least. And she's good into Frieren still, not good into Diene, not good into Brunka. So you want to pick her like 4 or 5 every game like last season. But still decent in some spots where they don't have those, and you need to like stabilize your draft with single target DPS. Then you can go like Spirit Eye plus 5. Renak. The only reason why Renak's good for Cleave is just her speed. Like, that's literally it. And the fact that she can kill guaranteed on S2, S3. So, yeah. Like, if you have extra speed, just throw it on Renak in case you need to race with Renak. And then, yeah, if Renak gets to S to S3, then you just win the game. But outside of racing, she's like pretty bad for Cleave because she doesn't provide enough value. Straze, obviously you want to be pretty fast. And he's good when there's no anti-pen and you need to kill off a unit guaranteed. Like, for example, if they're playing like Blue Elena, Veronica, G-Ross, right? Then Straza will be pretty good. You can just nuke off the G-Ross if you have Brier, and then they pretty much run out of damage. So yeah, good into like anti-debuff teams too, where you can't rely on death breaks to kill, because you'll just pen defense anyways. TML, she just got buffed, and this is also still pretty tentative. Her ranking can go up or down, but I'm gonna put it in S tier for now. I think it's a pretty safe spot, right? Because of the speedy E, her damage is really strong now, because of this like speed difference pen. So she can one shot like the DPS Barunkas on Rocket Punch from full HP. She's also a book holder, right? She extincts units still. And then she even increases speed to all allies now. So no more attack buff, which is kind of unfortunate, but speed buff is nice for her own damage, right? Because she still gives attack buff to herself at least. So yeah, I'm on like this 270 DPS build. The opener build could be good. I tested it out. It seemed pretty alright. But I think it's too early to tell, so yeah, TML is also pretty strong. Ruel. Unfortunately, I have to include this unit because she is so broken, even as a Cleave anchor. Last season, people were slamming Ruel as an anchor every game if you're cleaving, just because she provides so much value, right? Like, she stabilizes your team so hard because her cooldowns are like literally non-existent, and she's so hard to kill off because of her revive that she gets, and then the invincibility, and then the damage limit. And then the cycling, the idol shear, the prophetic, the unit was straight cancer. But I'm unbiased, so she's an S tier. But yeah, I did not enjoy fighting Ruel. Barunka obviously fell off from the last meta, as a Cleave anchor at least, because you don't need to pick Barunka anymore in this day and age, right? Like, she was only there to stop the enemy team from picking single target stuff. But there's so much AoE in the game now where Barunka's value is a lot less for a cleaver. Pretty much non-existent. So she might even fall off harder. But just in case, as a 4-5 or as a pick on 3 sometimes, where they have like hella single target, like Zio Renak, then yeah, I guess Barunka could be okay. Fire Sherry, just a normal imprint. He's still the preferred, what do you call it, imprint if I'm just straight racing, because he gets 14 and he's a AoE DPS, right? Like, there's not a lot of AoE DPS imprints, so Sherry can do a lot of the damage if I have Brier, and he gives 14 speed. So yeah, Sherry's really good. You just want to be at a speed where he can take the turn after Brier S3 and then kill off them with defense break, and then he can push up your team as well with Sachet. Okay, Genesis Ross was really good with Zio, right? Or as an anchor sometimes, but you want to be on like a kind of fast build, so it's easier for him to take his turn, right? You can like bridge him up with your Brier, or your Cigret, or your Diene, right? And then if he gets to press S3, then you pretty much win. And his anti-debuff was nice, so in case they do have like anti-cleave that debuffs, like, I don't know, Festive Ada for example, you don't care because he's immune to debuffs. Okay. Wonder Silk. Just your standard imprint. Yeah, really not much to say. Immunity is important. High effectiveness. Sachet. She's probably still the second best way to deal with a Miki besides Veronica as an imprint, so yeah. Dark Shuri. Dark Shuri is good if you're playing an opener that can strip, obviously, right? He used to be really strong with Weakening Frenzy, but since I got removed, he might go down, honestly, in terms of usability, just because Kohi is like way more preferred than him now too. But he's still pretty decent because giving your opener the bomb or the explosives buff, where they can land bombs and shit, is really good. And his damage is really good with this RTA hero, Assassin's Pledge, right? You get extra burn and you get it detonated with the S3. So yeah, there's literally games where he just one shots the whole team with the S3. Okay, let's move on to A tier. Astromancer Elena. Very niche, but very useful to have, just because there's games where you can't always pick more and Elena ends up being better, or you need to pick both, right? I just wish they buffed her a little bit because she dies really fast, and yeah, I don't know, I feel like they could do more with their kit. But she's still decent as a 4 or 5 against counter like Iseria, for example, right? So pretty obvious one to pick her. Hua Young. This is more as an anchor, or if you're playing fast, you can play the speed version, the speed variant, and try to nuke out something after you bridge her, right? Because since she's immune to debuffs, she can't get tagged by stuff like Festive Ada and stuff. And then you can just like try to sober nuke off a unit like straight away, which applies extinction, so it's pretty nice. Oh fuck, I keep clicking back. Aki was really underrated, where he's kind of like the new Spiridai and Flan, where he's a single target nuker. And he's really good at killing Frieren, because she'll just die to the burns. The only problem with Aki is you can't pick it into Arya. So that's like the only thing. And obviously, you have to kill him in like 3 turns because of the HP. Like, he reduces the HP when you soul burn, so yeah. You have to have good target selection, but he is pretty underrated as a Cleave bridge. Hua Young. She is nice for her damage, right? She's good with ML Luna. She's good with Ran, like non-attack skill openers, because she can proc off of it and then push up the rest of your team, right? So that's not Hua Young. What the hell? Right. Good with ARM as well. Obviously, this build would be different if you're playing like the Ran version. You'd probably go like a 250 speed build. But yeah, on simple to help you hit evasion stuff. So DDR was really strong with Zio again because of the new Queen's Whistle RD. So you can finally bridge off of a Zio S1 and then you can put everyone to sleep, right? The only thing though is there are better debuffers, like Cigret is obviously better than DDR, right? But Tede is not a bridge with Zio, but DDR is. So you can play like Cigret DDR with Zio if they're playing a lot of like tanky stuff that can get controlled. So that's when DDR will be useful. ML Ludwig fell off, like he keeps falling off like season after season, which makes sense because there are better DPS than him now, which is a little sad, but he still has his niche usage cases if you're playing Zio or Brier and you just need a lot of souls to like nuke their team. Then Ludwig could be pretty good, but yeah, there's really no reason to pick Ludwig if you already have like Frieren. So it is what it is. LHC, she's good when there's counterattackers or units that can proc extra attacks. But Lionheart's problem is her damage. She can't really do that much damage while still maintaining like high speed, right? So just because ML Isteria, she gives the front unit CR, so you need your ML Sermia to be like pretty fast. And obviously on a hit chance already to hit versus like Setsuka and shit, because that's when you're gonna be picking her too. But unless they're death broken, she has a hard time killing, which is why she's like lower down in the tier. But yeah, could be decent if you have a Brier on 3, I guess. Politis on the DPS build, right? This thing was picked when they went blue Elena, and I needed a way to cut their CR. Then I would pick this most likely. Right, if I have like, or Veronica too. If they went Veronica, then I'll pick Fire Poly Diene, right? Because that's pretty much, that allows me for my Diene to take the turn. And her damage is okay. She's a book holder, which is nice. And then you want to be at the speed point where it's 70% of your opener. Yeah, because she pushes 30, so 240s seem pretty good. Emma Luna, she's just a force ban most of the time now. No longer an opener that you pick like 1 or 2. But she would pretty much get force banned if you pick her, right? Because like this S3 is still insanely strong versus like 80% of the cast that have passives. So you would just slam this as a force ban, and then you would just play with your top 4. So she was nice for that. Besides that situation, very rarely I'll play her on 3. If they're picking anti-Brier like super early, like Fada, right? Then I'll just slam Luna on 3 and go like SBA 4 or something. Similar to... Oh, I'm lagging out. What's going on? What the fuck? I just got a connection error? Did my Wi-Fi die? Oh, I can't tell. Okay. Knockball. Oh, you know what that reminds me of actually? I forgot to put 1 unit here. Okay, let's put Sinji here. Sinji is actually decent, just because of her passive. We're gonna move down Watcher. We're gonna move down... Move down Sharklot. And take out fucking... Take out this shitter. Okay, there. Because I do want to talk about Sinji. Oh, now I have to update the thunder. All good, whatever. Alright, if you're a real one, then you'll see the tier list has changed. Okay. Knockball is really, really strong as a replacement for Brier along with Sinji, right? Knockball and Sinji could replace Brier if Brier gets pre-banned. Just because they do pretty similar things, right? This deals with Ruel because of the increased cooldown. And she can also apply Seal. And she can Death Break if you have this already. So that was one way to deal with their draft if Brier was pre-banned. The other way was Sinji, but Sinji's different where she doesn't land any debuffs. So if you had Scales, then Sinji on 3 would be really strong. Because this immortality for 2 turns plus Scales immortality, your Sinji ends up becoming a super strong tank, right? For a long time in the match. And having anti-revive in her passive. So she has the same Brier passive, but doesn't have the Death Break. So yeah, it kind of depended on which route you went with, Knockball or Sinji. But these were the Brier replacements. Seria. This was nice if you don't have Light 10A. Right, this unit is really, really similar to Light 10A, where you pick this into Blue Elena because she applies the bombs after she cleanses, right? The difference is if you get 15, then it's like you like pretty much lose because you're gonna be picking this to Veronica too, so you need to land all your bombs. Otherwise, it's hard for you to win. But yeah, which is why I prefer Light 10A a lot more. But I mean, if you don't have Light 10A, then Seria is honestly a solid replacement. Green Sid. Just on a standard fast build on Alexa's basket. Just a fast imprint, because sometimes you need a really giga fast imprint. So it's not even that fast, but gets the job done. Mort's the Elena 2.0. You want to be on a fast build. I'm still on Perlucia because I found the immunity barrier to be useful on some occasions, right? And at the speed, so you just push up with Brier and then Mort stomps and then it does a fuck ton of damage. Okay, let's move on to B tier. We're almost done. Ahmed fell off a cliff just because like she has a lot of counters now with like OBL, New Moon Bunny. It's hard to pick her, right? Zio, Harsetti still. There's just no way for her to like, safely get off her combo. So Ahmed, you didn't see Ahmed that much at all. But yeah, he's more so like Gilbert now at this point. But yeah, like her skills are good. It's just the meta doesn't favor her at the current moment. Litica. Another unit where on paper her kit looks good, but her damage is just not good enough. Like, this is really strong, right? But she can't kill, even with 80% def pen. So it's like, you're struggling to find damage on her. I'm actually on Umbral because she doesn't have a way to bridge herself. So if you play like Ran, you can like Ran S2, S3 and then proc Litica that way to push her up. So that could work, but yeah, I didn't like her damage too much. Like, even though her gear is pretty good, but yeah, it just wasn't enough. First Veda, really nice as a counter to Blue Elena and as a setup for your Frieren, right? Because you end up taking the counter to Frieren and taking a setup for Frieren, right? Because she has the AoE, ignore, ER, soulburn, strip into death break into silence, which is like perfect for Frieren. And attack imprint is nice too, so yeah. The nice I think shout out How to invented this tech, and I ended up using it like I think 5 times last season. It's pretty good actually, where you pick this into Blue Elena because the Elena is forced to S3, right? Which will proc your Ada, and then you'll be able to do the whole Ada bullshit with like your S2, like this thing. So that's really nice. Frida, not that strong, just because she doesn't provide much value besides her free soulburn. Like she okay, increases attack and pushes your team, but like a lot of units can do that now, so yeah. Flan. This debuffer was not as strong as like Caesarea or Diene or Cigret, so her debuff priority is definitely lower. But the nice part is she is a bridge with Zio, which I guess is that can never be a bad thing. But like Zio already has better debuff for bridges with like Cigret and DDR, so picking this would be pretty rare. But I mean, I guess if Diene was or Cigret was ever pre-banned, you can just go like DDRP Flan. I don't know, that could work. Okay, let's go into Gala. Another unit that got buffed, but still don't really see played too much just because anti-pen is still really prevalent. Right, like she literally does 0 damage with Ilanov. So if you pick this, you're pretty much forced to ban Ilanov. Or you could pick it as a 4-5, then maybe it could be decent too. So yeah, similar to Straze. But then at that point, why not just pick Straze, right? Instead of this. Because Straze does more damage anyways too. Rowana, a unit that kind of fell off hard, right? You see a lot of units that don't care about cooldown reset anymore, or are immune to debuffs, right? Like Giros is everywhere, Eula can't get reset, right? A lot of evasion stuff like Setsuka too. It's hard to pick Rowana into evasion. A lot of stuff that doesn't really favor Rowana. So she's no longer like this broken bridge that everyone used to play back in the day. But yeah, I mean, there's probably a scenario where she could be decent as a 4/5. So yeah, she's down here. Saria, only good if you're playing extra turn openers, obviously, so like Renak or Ran. Her damage is okay, but pretty niche unit, right? This artifact's really good because then you can pick her into like scales and shit. If you have like Renak, but yeah, Shield's alright. Sea Phantom, honestly, just here for the decreased resource function, honestly. Besides that, I didn't really pick her too much, right? She's only there to help me deal with like an Alteyu or Young Senya or Setsuka, stuff like that. Watcher, a pretty bad imprint. Definitely like one of the worst ones. His damage is pathetic and his kit's pathetic. So, oh, and his speed increase is pathetic too. So like, yeah, there's like just 10 times better imprint. But he is an imprint, so he's important to have in a Cleave, on a Cleave roster. Sez is here. He was pretty underrated as a bridge for your Zero comps or your Ran comps or your Brier comps, right? If you can get a kill with S2 into Wind Rider and then S3 does a fuck ton of damage. And he extincts too, so. Yeah, the way he procs is pretty cool. They do under 30% health. And that's pretty easy if you have a DPS opener into bridges. And he just goes stupid after. Especially if I like Zio. Like Zio does a lot of damage on his S3. BBK. She's a quote-unquote sustainable DPS along with Frieren, but Frieren does the job way better. BBK sustain is in her immortality, right? So, oh, and her S1 heals, but it's not as sustainable as the Frieren, so that's why she's down here. But still really strong with scales. If you put BBK in the front, you just have to be careful for anti-revive, like Veronica, Hkate, shit like that. And this damage is pretty good, right? If you can manage to get a Soulburn S3 off on depth targets, you kill everything. And then it's hard to kill off BBK if she's behind scales, honestly. Okay, Surin. Honestly, a decent imprint, better than Watcher for sure. On RNL. Only because she gets 14. And this does like okay damage against imprints. If you proc RNL, perfect. Then you can S2, S3. I'm on this build again. She's able to take the turn after Brier S3 on Renewed Will. So yeah. Litica, again, similar to ML Poly, I picked this when they pick like Young Senya on 3 and I still want to Cleave. I want to go Brier if they go Young Senya on 3, right? I'll pick this instead. And then try to play a Litica angle with Aran, right? If I already have like Diene or Frieren 1 too early, then Litica Aran ends up being pretty strong, right? So that'll be like the only time. I probably picked it like twice. Okay, now go on to the shit tier and the rest of the shit tier, right? Eligos is like he's just a CP bot at this point. Ruiza is decent if your opponent is brainless, just because yes, this is pretty strong, but there's no way to guarantee her S3 into S2 without enemy interruption, right? They could always go like G-Ross too. She's really weak in G-Ross as well. And why not just pick like, there's like better options than Ruiza, right? Why not just go 10A? Why not just go Cigret? Again, it's a similar problem with the, you know, like P-Flan. But the difference is, at least P-Flan's a bridge. Ruiza can't even bridge herself, right? So. Blue Ada, honestly, she's just hard to use because she needs a lot of stats and she does have a lot of counters, right? She needs to sober in S2, S3 for that value. And there's a lot of RNG in the S2, S3. She needs to land her stuns, she needs to push back, not get countered, right? She's blue, so she struggles with evasion. But that's why he doesn't like it. Sharklot, similar problem where her damage is pretty pathetic first. And I can't really think of a scenario where Sharklot would be good. Like, I don't really see it. The situations where I would pick Sharklot, I would just be picking like Flan or like a debuffer instead, or like, I don't know, literally anything but Sharklot. I don't know, they buffed her, so my opinion on her is like, I want it to be good, but I can't see a scenario where Sharklot would be good. Like whenever I'm playing Zeo Cleave or Brier Cleave or Rank Cleave. Yeah, nothing comes to mind. Famir. Good if your Famir's like super fast, but I don't have the gear for that. And you need a fuck ton of F2, otherwise you get 15 and then you lose. But I do think Famir has potential to be really strong as the season goes on. Just because of her new passive, right? Where she gets the extra turn and then you can give her book, so yeah, maybe she'll get better. Xeno's strictly on here because of the anti-evasion. Because evasion is still really, really common in the current meta. It's like the new Lone Crescent buff and the Setsuka buff, right? So this will help you deal with the evasion. Janua, just here as a DPS. Like, when you're playing Cleave, you want to have DPS that are able to sustain themselves and not die instantly. So Janua is one of them, BBK is one of them, Spirit Eye is another one, Frieren, right? But Janua's down here because he's just shit versus Illinois. Opsig is just the worst Straze and Gala and like literally everything in between. Even though I thought this would help her a lot, but I guess it's not enough, unfortunately. Monarch Iseria, another unit I don't have, but she was a decent anchor. And decent is pushing it. Like she's an anchor for sure, but the problem with her is she needs to counterattack, which means you need to hit your cleave team. So 9 times out of 10, it's Monarch Iseria trying to 1v4. So that didn't really work out too well. She's good in aggro setup still with Renek on 3, but if you're playing like Ran or Bryce area with like Monarch, there's better options for sure. Okay, Green Yufine. Honestly, she's just here for in case you open Harsetti, right? Then Green Yufine obviously becomes super strong because of the base speed build versus Harsetti that can kill everything. So yeah. Oh boy, we're moving on to Wandering Prince Sid. Another cope ass unit where you would think his job is to be like Blitz, where he can proc off with Zeo S3 and like do his thing right away. But like, first, it's not AoE, it's only the unit with the highest attack. He also doesn't strip either, by the way, so like the unit fucking sucks. But at least he can hold book though, I guess. So yeah, whatever. CDOM, I saw some Koreans play CDOM, but I think it's pretty shit. Like, there's way better units that can do CDOM's job. So I didn't really see it. But I guess she is a book holder, so that is always decent. Closer Charles. Almost done here. Only works if you're playing the triple Torn Zeo, and then you can proc the Closer Charles, and then he goes, and then S3, and stuff like that. But that was like a cheese comp, not really that good, so Yeah, so he's down here. And lastly, ARAM. You didn't really get a chance to play ARAM and Cleave unless like they literally had no CR interruption where you can just like take 6 trillion turns with no consequence. So I guess if they let you do that, then ARAM would be good. You can like double reset Astraza or something. But that's more for Guild War, not really an RTA angle. People will find out what you're doing and deal with it. So yeah, that's pretty much all. I know the more popular thing that people want is the Cleave drafts that I make, but since the season just started, it's obviously going to change as we get closer to the end. But this, like, in terms of the viability of the Cleave units, that doesn't really change, right? We saw these units on the top be meta for like multiple seasons now, so if you're looking to get a legend frame, I guess, then this could help you. Or like even amp, right? This could help you figure out which units you want to prio and then pull for and then build up for sure. So yeah, I hope this video was enjoyable. I'm gonna try to not kill off my YouTube channel. I need my Sky Stones too, so another reason why I did this for SG. Please fund me more type shit. But okay, no more autism. Alright, I hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.